What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be giving you guys my part 2 of what I would change about The Flash as a show. I just also want to quickly apologize. I'm getting this video out a little bit late, but yeah, with that said, let's get started. So last video we ended with Season 5, so here we're going to start off with Season 6. So in my opinion, the first half of Season 6 was, I'd say, almost perfect. I think, Frost was kind of stupid, and, that Cisco-focused episode was kind of boring. But other than that, I thought the first half was really good. Bloodwork was amazing. So yeah, I would just, sort of tweak those things just a little bit. Now, as for the second half of Season 6, I actually thought it was really underrated, even, without the things that I would change. I think it was still pretty good. Obviously, they definitely should have changed some stuff up. For instance, instead of a mirror villain, they could have made their effort on having the Rogues be the main villains of the second half of the season. Maybe Mark Martin escapes prison along with the Trickster. Maybe they say Captain Cold is alive again because of Crisis and he's like a bad guy again, something like that. Maybe they throw Grodd in there too. I think that'd be awesome. I think, all of that in the second half of Season 6, along with, like, that little Reverse Flash storyline we got, the Godspeed episode, the Death of the Speed Force storyline, and Kid Flash's return, could have made for an absolutely epic season and probably the most entertaining season. And I think they really missed an opportunity to bring back some amazing characters because of Crisis on Infinite Earths. They brought back a lot of characters on Arrow. Why not do the same for the Flash, But in the end, I'd still have Iris get stuck in the Mirrorverse in order to, I guess, keep the main storyline going. But instead of just a mirror villain, I think they could have had an entire Rogues gallery going up against the Flash. It's crazy that they never really had like that as a season-long storyline, because in the comics, that's like the Flash's main enemies are the Rogues. So yeah, really the only huge change that I would have for Season 6 is the main villain of the second half of the season. So I think, yeah, Season 6 I thought was actually really good. But now we go into Season 7, and oh boy, this is going to be a lot. So I'm going to go over this as fast as I can and try to explain it as best I can. I'll just briefly go over everything so it makes sense to you guys at the end of this. So Season 7, the first few episodes I think could go as normal for the most part, except, the main villain or the main threat would be the Rogues and not just a mirror villain. So yeah, Barry would get his speed back, Nash Wells would die and all that. And oh yeah, the only time I'd ever show Allegra on the show would be, for Iris and her reporter storyline. In my opinion, Allegra should have never even joined Team Flash. I think, as I said multiple times over the past year, I think she's a terrible character. Now, also, sometime around this time, Barry should meet a new police detective at CCPD named August Hart, who, in my opinion, should have always been from the present. So, anyways, Barry would defeat the Rogues in that final battle, and then we'd still go on to, like, the Forces, but I would do this, obviously, a lot differently. So, I think it should start off with Barry learning that when he was struck by lightning initially in, like, 2014, he didn't just tap into the Speed Force, he created it, just like in the comics. I think that would have been way better. That would also mean that Barry is the Speed Force avatar, not someone who looks like his mother, because Speed Force Nora is a terrible character, which means I don't think she should have ever appeared on the show. So yeah, I would basically say that there would not really be a main villain of the Forces storyline, and I would actually cut it down quite a few episodes. So obviously, if you guys remember, Barry and Iris originally revived the Speed Force and created that, like, lightning storm. Now, as it did create the Forces, I think it also should have affected August Hart, turning him into Godspeed. And with that, I think the Godspeed storyline should have been way longer. And in my different version of Season 7, the Forces stuff only happens for 3 episodes or so, and then I'd say 11 Godspeed-focused episodes and 1 interlude episode for Cisco's final episode. So I think for the 3 Forces episodes, I think each episode could be dedicated to one different force, and they could just be like the villains of the week until like Barry would eventually convince them to be heroes, just like he did, but it like took way too much time. So I think I think that definitely would make sense. Now, some of you guys may be thinking, well, why even put the Forces in Season 7 at all? Isn't that kind of pointless? Yes, it is. But here's the thing. It actually, because I still have the Forces appearing in Season 8, so they kind of need to, appear in Season 7 in order to get stuff started, if that makes any sense. So these 3 Forces episodes would just basically be them introducing the Forces to the show, but the season would mostly be focused on Godspeed. But yeah, if the forces didn't appear in season 8, then I would definitely just cut them out of the show entirely because they were absolutely atrocious in season 7. But anyways, now for the Godspeed stuff, I would do a little switch here. I would have the Godspeed Clone War stuff happening in the future, which forces Bart and Nora to go back to the origin of how this Godspeed stuff started, which would be the present and with Barry. So that's how they can incorporate Bart and Nora into this Godspeed storyline. But like I said, in episode 4 or so, maybe episode 3 of season 7, Barry should have met August Hart, who, as I said before, is a new police detective at the CCPD. Now, keep in mind, I would have the Forces stuff end after episode 6. So when August gets struck by lightning from the storm in episode 4 or 3, rather, we could just get occasional scenes in episodes 5 and 6 showing him like adjusting to his speed and turning evil and becoming Godspeed. Now, I also think we could go even more comic book accurate here and say that other people also got speed from the lightning storm and Godspeed stole all their speed, that's basically what Godspeed does in the comics. He's like a speed thief. So yeah, I think just to clarify everything that would be happening in season 7, from episodes 1 to 3 they would be finishing up the rogue stuff from season 6. Episodes 4 to 6 would be introducing the forces, and episodes 7 through 18 would be the Godspeed focused stuff, while there would be one episode, probably still episode 12, being dedicated to Cisco's final episode. And for the season 7 finale, I would change a couple things up here too. I would have liked to see, first of all, no Star Wars lightsaber battle, and instead just a classic speedster battle between Godspeed, Barry, and Wally this time, instead of Reverse Flash. Now, with that said, I think there should have been a cliffhanger showing Reverse Flash no longer being formless, as obviously he was left formless in season 6. So then that could lead into, him returning for Armageddon in the Flash season 8. So yeah, that was a lot for season 7. Please comment any questions you guys might have of, what else I would change, or just comment what you would change about season 7 as well, because there's a lot of different ways they could have done it better. But anyways, for season 8, I think Armageddon for the most part was pretty good. I just changed a few things. So first thing, Allegra and Chester, they can't have any kind of storyline in Armageddon. It didn't fit at all. There was already too much going on for them to also have something happen. They were like that, one annoying kid at recess who's like, hey guys, I'm playing too, but they weren't invited. But anyways, yeah, I just delete those Allegra and Chester scenes. And also the villains of the week were kind of lame. The Royal Flush Gang is terrible, although that Flash Time scene where Barry was fighting them in Flash Time in episode 1 of season 8 was absolutely awesome. So I think they could have, maybe kept that in. They just didn't need to have as many scenes with the Royal Flush Gang. But I really just think they should have brought back some older villains. I think that would have been so much better to see. And the villain in episode 2 was also kind of lame. Zotar, I think was her name. But her powers really fit into what was going on with Barry, so I'm willing to let that one slide because that one actually fit into the storyline. They just needed to get rid of, the why don't you love crap as well from episode 4, and then just, make Reverse Flash vibrate, because I think he looks ridiculous when he doesn't vibrate. Other than that, I'd say that's about it for what I'd change about Armageddon. So then we go into the rest of season 8, and honestly, the episode right after Armageddon with Bart and Nora, I thought was all right. It wasn't too bad. They just needed to change a few things, and I think it would have been better. Just like Officer Korber, I don't know why they use her so much. She's actually really annoying. I wish they didn't use her at all. And then just episode 7 after that, just a complete filler episode, and it was in the location of CCPD, which has no good characters at all anymore, since Eddie, Joe, Patty Spivot, nobody like that is there anymore. So I just think they should have just picked a different location or something along those lines to do episode 7. The Deathstorm stuff, I think it was really good. There's just there's not much I would change. There's obviously stuff that I didn't want to watch all the time, but I just don't know what I would change it into instead. So other than the Chester and Allegra stuff, they could just delete that out of the show. But other than that, I just can't really find much that I would change about the Deathstorm stuff. Actually, that one scene where Barry's walking on lightning in the air, that was an awesome scene, except the background music was terrible. They should have just had some normal Flash action music instead of a rock band song. I think that would have been way better if they just had normal background music. So yeah, other than that, I thought the Deathstorm arc was pretty good. But then we go into that second half of the back half of the season rather, where we deal with the forces stuff, and I think the negative versus positive forces stuff, I think that was necessary for that to show the negative avatar being the Reverse Flash and all that. Here's the thing though, I like the Iris time sickness stuff. I think that actually worked in season 8. I would still have that happen. I would still have her like being the sacrifice that that needed for Reverse Flash to come back. However, I would have that trigger Matt Letcher Reverse Flash's memories. I think that would have been way better to see, a Flash versus Matt Letcher Reverse Flash. I think that would have been cool. And then instead of him being erased from existence or something like that, I think he could have just run off and then maybe come back in the season 9 finale when they're wrapping the show up. Obviously season 9 is going to be the last season. So yeah, that's basically about all I would change. And if they were to keep the Tom Cavanaugh version for season 8, that finale, I think they should have just done like a season 1 thing as well, where they had as he's being erased from existence, he turns into the Matt Letcher version. I think that would have been cool to see, at least in the season 8 finale, instead of just seeing the Tom Cavanaugh version be erased from existence. It is one more thing with the season 8 finale, the positive Flash versus negative Reverse Flash. I think if that was like a series finale, I would not exactly be a fan of that, just because they use the forces so much, which I guess just because that we're getting another season, I think it's all right that they can do that. The black suit on Reverse Flash, don't really know why they did that and didn't have Barry get a new suit as well, because they were at like equal power levels. So I don't know what the deal with that was. They could have just had him in his yellow suit this whole time. I think that would have been way better to see. But yeah, those are a few things I would change about season 8, and that's what I would change about the show so far. But anyways, I'd say that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts on this video down below, as well as your thoughts on what you would change in the Flash season, every season of the Flash, rather. I know I didn't go over everything that I would probably like to change. I'm probably missing a few things, so comment all your, your thoughts and opinions on that down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.